All right, welcome back. Now, the digital face statistical comparison between social media campaign conversations and offline has become a topic of discussion as the 2019 elections draw ever nearer. Data scientist Adeyemi Odeneye is here in the studios now to help us make sense of it all. Thank you very much indeed for coming, Adeneye.
You're welcome.
All right, well, social media has become a veritable campaign tool in the hands of, political players, so much so that if you are not online, it would appear you are out of touch with the world, isn't it?
Exactly. Sure. That means you're missing. Because social media has become a platform where people go to express their emotion and perception about policies and government decisions and stuff like that.
And there is a sense in which presence on social media influences things, isn't it?
Yes, there's a correlation between someone's presence on social media and the performance. Even maybe it's a brand, maybe it's a political personality, maybe it's a religious personality, maybe it's a motivational personality. There is a correlation between your social media presence and your offline reputation.
All right, we're going to have some graphics at the moment, if we can have them now, so that we begin to take a look at the presidential candidates as the elections draw closer. Let's begin with President Muhammadu Buhari. What are people saying about these candidates online? President Muhammadu Buhari, Atiku Abubakar, Fela Durotoye. Tell us what people are saying about them online before we begin to take a look at them individually.
Okay, what people are saying about these political aspirants kind of varies. Firstly, in terms of President Muhammad Buhari, people are talking about, the president's insecurity. President talked some weeks ago what about unemployment issues. Talking about the strike actions being put in place some weeks ago, and about Fela Durotoye, they're talking about giving the younger ones an opportunity to take leadership. And in terms of Sowore, the same. Conversation revolves around this category of political aspirants. Then in terms of Atiku,
yes.
People are talking about, corruption, and people are talking about leadership, which is not being well done during his regime.
Okay. Now, let's look at, we had President Muhammadu Buhari, but let's now look at the next graphic now, which is Atiku Abubakar. And then, look at the circle. What does the ash color represent? Yeah, the ash color represents the communication flow between people on the social media space. It shows how people are interacting, talking different topics, different conversations. The frequency of
the
people's
frequency
interactions.
flows between people on the digital space, because the digital space is like a market square. So we can't see it, so we just need to bring it together. So what you have is a conversation map that gives the flow of communications between these people on digital space. Okay. What about the blue circle? Yeah, the blue circle talks about a bigger cluster, bigger community that are really much more integrated compared to the bigger. If you look at the other boundary, there is a set of people communicating, but they are a bit farther than the inner circle. The inner circle talks more how fast this communication flow in between, how critical they are discussing about the political aspirant in question. And that is where you see a lot of influencers within that circle. Okay, so it means that those in the inner circle, their interactions are more intimate, more... Exactly, exactly. That's all right. How it is. Okay, that's Fela Durotoye. Now let's look at Fela Durotoye's graphics as well. The inner circle, what does the inner circle represent? There are some, tiny lines on the hair, and then what do they represent? Yes, if you look at Fela Durotoye's inner circle, it shows that a particular set of people are really promoting Fela Durotoye. They are what kind of people are these? What kind of people? And these are the youths. The youths. These are the youth. These are the following the youth. But in that, there are also people who are not really they are maybe sitting on the fence.
Okay.
And that's why you could see a kind of space between
people
the
who are
communication
undecided.
flow. Exactly, just undecided people still within this conversation map. Okay. And also at the outer boundary are people who once in a while try to eavesdrop and looking at, okay, what exactly are they saying? Like even other political aspirants, loyalists are also coming to eavesdrop.
Just
into,
take a peek.
Exactly.
They're not necessarily getting engaged.
Exactly, yes. To see, okay, what are they saying here? Let's see if we can actually bring, or just reply. Or did they talk about us? Or did they say about Atiku?
Okay.
Or did they mention about Buhari in this network? So those are the people, are the outliers.
All right. Now, that's Mohalo as well. Tell us about Mohalo's own presence online.
Yeah, Mohalo's own is a bit similar to Fela Drotoye, except that it's not that as critically engaged compared to Fela Drotoye. Okay. And the conversation tends to follow the same direction with Fela Drotoye. Yeah.
Okay, so it does appear at the moment that people talk more about the two heavyweights, President Muhammadu Buhari, because we realize that the clusters, are far more engaged than we saw in that of Mohalo and Fela Drotoye. All right, now, as it is, tell us, do you think that these conversations will eventually, okay, that's another graphic, that we see, the green box, what does that tell us? Okay,
the green box talks about those who are, that's Buhari and Atiku. Okay. They have more followers, and it shows how strong they are. Okay. And that justifies what we saw in the first two slides describing their conversation map. Okay. It shows that Buhari is influential, as well as Atiku.
Atiku is also influential.
These are just basic figures that justifies the initial conversation network that we saw. Okay. So they also have similarity in terms of the number of tweets as well. Okay. So that is where they actually stand out. But however, for the other aspirants, they have lesser number of followers, so which you can actually see in the conversation network. So it's one thing about the other political aspirants in spite of the fact that they are popular among the youth, it's just not being seen because they should have more followers by this time. All
right. So from what we've seen, from the metrics, the map, Atiku Abubakar, President Muhammadu Buhari, their presence are very strong, online.
Yeah.
Okay, now, finally, how do you think these conversations that go on online will affect, the outcome of the 2019 elections?
Okay, it's prior to, in 2015, when I predicted the election, using the same model, the same approach and model, I predicted that President Muhammadu Buhari will win the election. But on the contrary, it appears the offline was saying towards Goodluck Jonathan. But the data was saying it's going to be President Muhammadu Buhari, which eventually was the winner. So there was a correlation between the social media and the election outcome. In the same vein, for the Lagos State governorship election, which is Ambode, which I also analyzed, I was saying, okay, now that was when there was a conversation around the traditional ruler and then which I said data is still saying that Ambode is still going to win. Okay. So one thing about social media is there's a correlation between people's expression of opinion and reality, because the social media gives facts, it gives the genuinity of interest. So it is a platform where people can actually say the sincerity of art. Okay. If I come to meet you, as the election day comes nearer, you'll be afraid to express your mind. But when it comes to the social media, you could just tweet or go to Facebook and express your reality. Right. You could just decide to tell me anything, but whatever you want to do is in your mind, so you go ahead to tweet. So over time, there's always a consistent correlation between it.
All right, from what we've seen so far, from the map, the metrics, and all of that, in 2019, what's your prediction? Yes. It's going to be a hard fight, isn't it?
Yes. The reality is both two players are strong. But one is stronger on social media more than the other, which is Atiku. Atiku appears to be stronger on social media, looking at other metrics. There are other metrics which we look into. That means that a lot of influence around that. And as we tend towards the election period, the people who are stronger on social media tends to take the wave. Yeah. Some people have not decided. They are waiting to hear.
So there is a sense in which what we see now may not necessarily be the outcome of
exactly,
the elections. Exactly. All right, Adeyemi Odeyemi, we thank you very much indeed for coming to share your thoughts with us.
Yeah,
really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much.